The Helen Glover Show, streaming live at 920WHJJ.com. Stimulating talk for Rhode Island. The Helen Glover Show on Talk Radio 920 WHJJ.
It's Talk Radio 920 WHJJ. I'm Helen Glover. I have the distinct pleasure of sitting with Wafa Sultan. She's the author of a book called A God Who Hates. It's a courageous woman who inflamed the Muslim world by speaking out against the evils of Islam. Dr. Wafa Sultan is a Syrian-born American psychiatrist, included in Time Magazine's 2006 list of the 100 most influential people. She exploded onto the public consciousness on Al Jazeera TV in 2006 as the first Arab Muslim woman on that station who demanded to be heard. She is on the East Coast, lives in California, but she is on the East Coast because she is going to be speaking locally. We'll find out more about that, but she joins us now because I thought it was important to actually get more of a handle on just how this Eastern culture, the Eastern mindset, and the world of Islam actually operates, because I don't know that we understand that as much. Dr. Sultan, welcome to the Helen Glover Show.
Thank you so much, Helen.
May I call you Wafa?
Absolutely. I love my name because it means sincere in Arabic.
Oh, excellent. I knew a few Arabic words, but
Yes.
I'm always interested in learning more. I'll tell you what, one of the things that has bothered me about this, probably going back to the mid to late 80s. That was when we first heard strange names like Taliban and Al-Qaeda, and we saw the Taliban taking over in Afghanistan. And I couldn't understand in this day and age how there could be an area in the world that was going to suppress women back to the Stone Ages without the world crying out about that. And as we watched the 9/11 attacks, as we watched Taliban take over in Afghanistan, as we watched Al-Qaeda emerge and then become actually a force that gathered in Iraq for that war. Here we are 8 years later talking about another surge of our troops into Afghanistan, and I don't know that America understands their enemy. Is Islam the religion of peace in the world, or is Islam now so radicalized that it's become something different than what you knew it as?
You know, the problem with people in the West is not they don't understand much about Islam. The problem is they don't want to understand.
We don't want to look at the evil side.
Absolutely, because here and, you know, you treat all religions at the same.
Well, we were brought up to,
Yeah, you have been educated,
right,
to treat all religions the same. And you treat Islam as any other religion. And the problem, Islam is not a religion.
You're saying Islam is not a religion?
It is not, especially when it comes to the violation of women's rights. And that's why you don't want to understand the women problem in the Islamic world, because they are related to Islam as a religion.
Now, do we have in this country, now this is Major Hassan, who just blew away 14 people at Fort Hood. One woman was pregnant, so I count them as 14, and then tried to kill some 30-something other people. Is he a religious man following the edicts of the Quran, or is he a jihadist, or can we separate that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. He was brainwashed by the Islamic doctrine.
By the Quran?
By the Quran and by the Sunnah. The same way I was brought up.
Now, you were brought up in Syria.
I was born and raised as a Muslim. And at very early age, I was learned that we are here on earth to fight for the sake of Allah, and to kill or to be killed in this fight. The underlying foundation of Islam, the essence of Islam.
You were brought up in a radical family, or this was just normal?
No, this is normal.
This is normal.
I was educated mainly at public school.
At public school, and this is what you were taught.
So
okay.
The essence of Islam is to take over the world and submit it under Islamic Sharia, which is a set of brutal rules. Under Islamic Sharia, the non-Muslims have only 3 choices: to submit to Islam,
right,
to sit by a brutal rules and consider as dummies, or to be killed.
So when Major Hassan acted out, this was not a lunatic that just went off. This was a man who...
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. He was brought up. I heard his father saying he's not the son.
Right. This is not...
IRS.
Right.
I don't believe so. I don't believe so.
Do you consider yourself a Muslim woman now?
I don't believe in Islam.
Okay.
I don't practice Islam.
Okay.
But in terms of, culture, of course I am a Muslim.
So
for one
culturally,
reason,
okay.
because it's not my choice to be or not to be. You are who you were told to be, right? Once you fall in this trap, it is very hard to get out of it.
So do you not practice any religion at all now?
No, I believe in God, but
Okay.
I don't follow any specific religion.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm amazed that you are, first of all, I consider you very brave to speak out, and I'm glad you are, because often when things happen within the Muslim community or something like Major Hassan, we always say, why aren't people speaking out about this?
Somebody has to do it, and why not me?
But that puts your life in danger, doesn't it?
Absolutely. I receive death threats on a daily basis, and, I know their mindset. I was one of them. I know how determined they are. But, I say to myself, who cares? At least now I am leading the life of my choice. I lived in Syria for 3 decades of my life. I wasn't myself. I was just a dead fish. So now, I am a free human being. And
I found it interesting. Your book is A God Who Hates, and I'll tell you, I've been devouring this book. We've got a link up on the website, people that are interested in getting this. It's a very good read. It helps a little bit, I think, to begin to understand. One of the things that I noticed was when you said you made that decision to leave Syria and that you lined up outside the American Embassy. Yes. And I just want you to tell the people how you felt about the American Embassy, because we are hearing now we've got a new president, Barack Obama, and he really feels that America was hated throughout the world. I've traveled all of my life. This is nothing new. I mean, I've traveled through my life. It didn't matter who was the president at the time. There are areas of the world that hate us, and that's never going to change. But I want to hear from you how you felt about the American Embassy and why you chose to come here.
Looking for a life. Looking to be free. It's a very long story.
You still saw America as that bastion of freedom.
Of course.
You didn't hate America.
Absolutely. And it doesn't matter how much they tell you we hate America. If you give American visa to anybody in Syria, he wouldn't stay a minute there.
I agree.
Go to any American embassy in any Islamic capital and see how many people are lining in front of there.
I met a Lebanese man one time who was, I believe he was in the army, and it was an interesting story that he had that went the early days of the Iraq War. He was talking to some of the kids on the side of the road, and he said, you're never real sure when you approach these kids. I mean, these could be the ones planting the IEDs. They could be, future terrorists. You don't know. And he said, so I have I have a little bit of command of the Arabic language. He said, the very first thing they said to me, you speak Arabic. How did you get to America? Here were these kids in Iraq. All they wanted to do was get to America. And I think, unfortunately, there's a lot of people in this country that don't understand that America is still the land of the free and the hope of the free world.
I receive hundreds of email because I am well-known writer in the Arab world. I receive hundreds of emails every day telling me, Wafa, would you please help us to come to America? We will fight with you hand with hand. So everybody is looking to come over.
All right, coming back, we're going to talk about how the people in Afghanistan, are we really going to be able to get them to understand that we're there to help? Can we get them to fight with us and get rid of the Taliban? Or we're trying to sort of separate the two here. How can, within the confines of the religion of Islam, how can we have these extremes, and how can we have the ones in this country that still say, listen, it is a peaceful religion? So we'll try to understand that coming back. We're with Wafa Sultan. The book is A God Who Hates, the courageous woman who inflamed the Muslim world by speaking out against the evils of Islam. This woman took to Al Jazeera television in 2006 to speak out. A very brave woman. 866-920-9455, 866-920-WHJJ. It's 9:16. We're going to see how you're moving out there and be right back with you on the Helen Glover Show on Talk Radio 920 WHJJ.
920 WHJJ. The Helen Glover Show continues on 920 WHJJ.
It's Talk Radio 920 WHJJ. I'm Helen Glover along with Wafa Sultan, Dr. Wafa Sultan, who has written the book A God Who Hates. She is someone who decided back in 2006 that she wanted to speak out. She was raised in Syria as a Muslim Arab woman. She now does not practice any religion, although you believe in God. I want to know this. The book has a great foreword here by the Ayn Rand Institute, and I want to touch on the fact here that you dedicate this book to your niece. Can you tell me the story of that?
Yes, because the death of my niece was a very painful turning point of my life. My niece was 11 years old when she was forced to marry her cousin. He was over 40.
He was 40 years old.
Yes.
She's 11.
Yes.
The marriage took place when she was 11?
Yes, absolutely. And her marriage was valid under Islamic Sharia because the Prophet Muhammad married his second wife when she was 9. He was 54. So her marriage was valid. And her life was nothing but hell. Her husband was very abusive and was alcoholic. And I always remember her escaping from her husband's home to her father's, begging her father, please, Dad, let me stay here, you know. I cannot take the torture anymore. You know, he's treating me very badly. I will be your maid to the last day of my life. And her father would say, go back, you know, in Islam, it's shame for a woman to leave her husband's home without...
Now, what year was this? What time frame was this? The 80s, the 90s?
In the 80s.
In the 80s. Is it this way today?
Even before, in the late 70s.
Okay, so is it this way today? Because a lot of people...
Absolutely. Okay. The Sharia, Islam, is still the law.
It's actually going backward, I think, for women's rights. It's going backward.
Right.
Well, I'm just, what I'm trying to get at here, Wafa, is a lot of people that are listening to this show are probably a very liberal mindset, and they're going to say, okay, so she's going to give one or two extreme stories of her homeland that took place back in the 70s. That's not the way it is today. There's a huge population of Muslim that are very peaceful, loving people.
But take a look at the women's situation in any Islamic country and tell me what you see.
Suppression. I see suppression.
Yeah, of course. Yep. Of course. You know, I always tell people when I came to this country, I had to accept a job as a cashier at gas station. I was treated as a female cashier at gas station much better than as a female medical doctor in Syria. Much better.
So you left Syria as a doctor?
Absolutely.
As a doctor
I practiced medicine for 9 years.
But were not respected?
Yeah, absolutely I wasn't. People used to call my husband, knock at my door and asking for like medical advice. Oh, doctor, we need Wafa. So my husband is not a doctor, and they will call him doctor, and they will, you know, call me by my name because for them, you know, I'm still a female. I'm not mentally fit to be able to be a regular human being.
Now, I loved in the book when you talked about what America meant to you. I mean, this is just one of those things where we just, as Americans born and raised here, we lose sight of the dream of America and how people coming here, as you did, new people to this country, coming, yearning to be American citizens, and the hope and the dream that America still is for so many people around the world. I'll tell you, it was very inspiring to read that. And you said, I never really got involved in politics. I always figured that anybody running for president, when they got to the level of being able to be considered by the American people presidential fodder, that they had already gone through all the
exactly hoops. That's how I felt.
Yes,
that's how I felt.
Did that change for you?